powers of the Seanad, what in fact it represents. Unfortunately, history has dictated some of the disgusting, horrible social and political norms that are based on putting forward, making one group of society kind of putting it from superior to another level of people. And it's all, in my opinion, from what I can see, does not. In fact, I think many TDs lack intellectual capacity to actually be politicians because they seem to replicate the same crap that's just dealt with in every government, and no real change comes in against the laws. No, but I by no means feel that the Seanad is perfect, but Seanad has played a very important role in changing social norms in Ireland, giving us our first female president. We have our first openly gay politician, Senator David Morris. But we also have a little bit of the political country kind of socialisation happening. People like David Morris, Mary Morris, and Jim Ross, come through to the Seanad. Do you think it's really a good idea to eradicate that and what it stands for, and that stance in changing society, when the Dáil doesn't ever put forward politicians that really challenge society?
I think it's probably a little unfair, first of all. But more importantly, and this doesn't win anyone to the yes side, if people aren't elected to the Dáil, or people are elected to the Dáil, who can't do the job, the fault is ours. It's not theirs. I mean, by the way, you were elected tomorrow to the Dáil, you go along.
The Dáil is elected by a lot of politicians, and all these false promises that politicians tell them.
I'm not sure Jackie Healy-Rae, for example, is into the false promises. I think he probably more or less does what he says. But if he's in the false,
Michael Ellery. My country completely lacks any autonomy now, and at the moment, in financial terms, the IMF control our country in Troika. And it's unfair to say that we're going to put politicians come out and say we're going to do this, we're going to do this financially, when actually what's dictated to what they're going to do, dictated to them by the Troika.
Yeah, I mean, with respect, I think that's quite simplistic. But more importantly, I think I would love to see, honestly, though I differ very strongly, I think John Brown would make an excellent TD. And I think if he put his money where his mouth is, that's what he should do. I think Mary Robinson would have been just fine without Shannon. I think David Norris would have been just fine. In fact, the the achievements of the people were largely outside of the Shannon, not in the Shannon. And I don't doubt that they would rise. Not public life. Not public life, though. They were in public life before they were in what you call political life, or Shannon life. I would love to channel those people into the Dáil. I mean, if you're worried about caliber there, then we should elect those people. And there are ways of changing the electoral system as well to make that more likely. But that's where we should focus our attention. And I think that Shannon is a distraction. Well, you've heard all that, so I'll stop there. But I do think we can solve the problem that you're concerned about the Dáil. And we have to remember that everyone in every political system complains about the students. This is not actually an Irish problem.
So should then the motion not be to abolish the Seanad and reform the Dáil, and not just abolish the Seanad?
Well, I think the motion is what it is because of the referendum.
Yeah, we're not being asked to vote on reform the Dáil on Friday.
I think
we're not being asked to.
That's what I'm asking you. Should what we're being asked to vote on Friday is abolish the Seanad and reform the Dáil?
But I think it's up to the electorate. Once there's a yes vote on Friday, it's up to the electorate to then push the agenda for Dáil reform.
Well, we all vote for that.
Well, I think Dáil reform is implied in a vote for abolishing Seanad.
I think so, but I think the other side wouldn't agree with that.
Would Dáil reform require another referendum?
No. Not necessarily.
Certainly, we wouldn't require it. I mean, ideally, perhaps down the line, it would be a good idea.
Look, I mean, as Sean and others are saying, in a lot of political commentators have said the same thing, I come around to the view, is that we can reform the Dáil all we want in terms of committees and as long as we have the ridiculously over-rigid party whip system, any change is really fundamentally going to be interesting because the executive will dominate through the exercise of the whip. Unless and until we have whip reform, the rest of the reforms are interesting.
You can't, whip reform, whip arrangement is
It's in the hands of the parties.
It's not a constitutional thing, it's not even politically wise, it's a party thing. And we have it because the British used to have it, they don't actually have it the way we have it anymore. But that can change too, I mean, is that? Okay, well, we can change that, I think, and I think that it'd be very hard for this government, no matter what happens in the referendum, I think it'd be very hard for them to not do anything more serious than they've done before the next election. And if they don't, we'll throw them out.
They say so.
Well, they seem very principled, don't they?
Now they do. Now they do. As soon as they get their hands on this series of cards.
No, they don't say principles. No, Mike's principles.
Sure, you're looking at
My principles.
Okay, guys, what we'll do is, before we finish up, each speaker, maybe 5 sentences max. Some of what you'd like people to take away. I know it's very difficult, but like in a quick soundbite, what you'd like people to take away tonight from your argument.
Okay. Does that count as a sentence? The Seanad is undemocratic, it is unnecessary. We can do better. Reform is not in the cards. It's not. Whether you like the Seanad or not, reform is not in the cards. But whatever you vote, well, vote first of all, and turn your attention with all of us to all reform next.
I suppose remember what I stated and what I said. It's undeniable. If the Seanad is abolished, it will be a very dominant executive and a very weak House of Parliament. I worry deeply about that for Irish democracy. I think that's a problem. There's an old saying, who's watching the watchers? Okay? I know that the Seanad as it's constituted now is weak. I'm not an apologist for the current Seanad. I think some people are there for too much. I'm not going to. But look at the reforms. There's a bill that's ready to go, can be enacted before Christmas, and we can have a Seanad that again ensures interrupted, gives every citizen a vote, allows for our arguments to vote, and it will be a really meaningful second opinion. So if you want that, if you want flourishing democracy, not just a functioning democracy, and if you want optimism, not defeatism, vote no on Friday.
I mean, I worry about the whole question of giving immigrants a vote. I know the Irish American community pretty well in San Francisco, for example, and the typical view you have is they're still back there fighting the Civil War. You know, they have this rose-tinted Republican view of Ireland. I would be deeply concerned about the influence those people could have on the country that we live in and try and make a living in. I suppose that's a slight irrelevancy. I don't believe a reform Seanad would actually enhance the governance of this country. I think we have a failure of governance in our political system. We have an opportunity on Friday to get rid of one of the reasons for that failure of governance. Once we do that, we can then focus in on the one area of governance we've left. And to talk about an autocratic government system, I just don't see that. I mean, one of the biggest criticisms of the last government was that nobody was in charge. And then when we set up the Economic Management Committee for people, suddenly it's autocratic. We can't have it every way. And I think it's also wrong to turn around and blame politicians for everything. Politicians don't elect themselves, we elect them. And the opportunity we get to elect them is, in what is, in my view, a way to dilute a form of democracy, which is proportional representation. Because the system we have, we get the opportunity to vote for politicians. That is as democratic as you can get. The Seanad, on the other hand, is as undemocratic, anti-democratic, whatever way you want to describe it, as you can get. And unless you become TDs and county councillors under the current system, you will never get an opportunity to vote for the Seanad. I can. That's elitist.
That's very pessimistic view. Well, forget talking English. No, I was just
democracy, people, but besides this debate, please do read up on yourselves. These are very few points. There's so much material out there that you can actually read about and get a proper opinion of doing this. I'm before you all just to do this. Now the yes side is saying that Seanad can't be reformed. They're saying that there's no need for it to be reformed. There's definitely need to be reformed. One of my main points was that our country has gone through a lot in the last few years, and it was due to no true proper checks and balances. We should not get rid of Seanad. We need more. I'm not calling for more politicians. I'm calling for more structures. I'm not calling for strong bureaucracy. I'm just calling for more checks and balances. We need a better system. We need a reform system. It can happen. It's the will of the people. If we vote no, that's a clear sign that we want this reform. No party can deny that, and no party can not let that happen.
So the idea that all of these crises happened in a situation where there were no checks and balances. There were checks and balances. The Seanad was there when the crisis happened, and the fact of the matter is they still did nothing about it. I suppose my last few words will be somewhat the same as my speech. Like these two speakers here gave you excellent points as to why we should get rid of Seanad. Like they gave excellent points as to why it's something that's irrelevant, it's something that is elitist, it's something that you don't necessarily have to have within our system. Just because it was always there doesn't mean that we should keep it there just because, which it seems to be, that's what it is. It's a sort of a form of entrepreneurism that we hold on to it, like we don't need it, it's something that's not necessary. I suppose I should end on a rhetorical note. If you want peace and love, and everywhere a child cries, there is a Seanad. And if you want to get rid of children crying and kittens being sad, you should vote to get rid of it.
Firstly, we can always give kittens support seats in the Before independence, what is now the Seanad Chamber was a ballroom where wealthy aristocratic Protestant friends and Leinster could enjoy themselves. Today, the Dáil Chamber is a room where white, mostly male, bourgeois, Catholic, mostly UCD educated men make decisions for us. The Seanad is not. And it doesn't have to be. And it can be better. There's a lot of absolutism here. And yes, it's not a vote for reform, but neither is no. I refuse to believe that either vote is a necessary vote for reform. But even if it can't be reformed, it's never a good idea to have fewer opinions. It's never a good idea to have fewer voices. And if that is enough, imagine all those poor, unemployed and unemployable former senators who really have no qualifications, going down to the Dáil office, trying to fill in their forms and saying they were a senator, going on false horses. And if that's tugging at your heartstrings, then you should probably vote.